Okay, here is an issue you are probably not thinking about too often. We moved our compute processes from dedicated servers to the cloud and then to the edge, all so that the services we are providing are closer to the end user. But does it really matter that the compute is on the edge if your actual data is still stored in a single location? Sure, your user's requests will get sooner to a nearby edge server, but then, internally, one or more round trips to the database still have to be performed. When you really think about it, the latency is still there. Enter Turso, an easy-to-use, scalable solution that allows you to seamlessly put data on the edge, all through a pretty nice dev experience. You don't believe me? Open a terminal window, install the Turso CLI, and then authenticate via your GitHub account. That's it, really. We can now create a database. There are a couple of things to keep in mind here. In Turso, a logical database is a collection of LibSQL server instances. We'll get back to LibSQL in the second part of the video, by the way, with one primary and 0 or more replicas. The primary instance is the main source of truth for the database and handles both read and write operations. Replicas contain copies of the primary, they can handle read operations, but will defer write operations to the primary instance. Database replication and ensuring data consistency are notoriously hard problems, but in this case they'll be handled by Turso directly.
Thank you!
Let's get a list of all the available locations and then create a new logical database which will be placed in the location closest to your current position in the world. With DB Shell, we can connect to our primary instance and write some SQL queries. I am creating a member table with a unique ID, a name, a password, and an audit column. Use the .tables command to double-check that your operation was successful. Of course, we can perform all the usual create, read, update, and delete operations directly in the shell, but most of the time, you'd want to do this programmatically. Note that we only use the terminal up until this point, but Turso also offers a web-based dashboard if you are looking for a better UI experience. Turso offers APIs for TypeScript, Rust, and Go. We'll use TypeScript in this video, so let's start a new Deno project, import LibSQL, and then initialize the Turso client. You can get both the URL and the authentication token via the CLI. Now it's a good time to address LibSQL. This is a fork of the very popular SQLite open source database. SQLite is a powerful tool, and its small size makes it perfect for running on devices directly on the edge. However, it has one big limitation. It lacks a proper server, which is mandatory for the use cases Turso is trying to solve. As a result, LibSQL introduces a server for remote SQLite access, similar to Postgres or MySQL, embedded replicas, and a handful of other improvements. Back to the code, with the client in place, we can now easily define a create user function, which will simply perform an insert operation, and a find user function to search for database entries, meeting some specific condition. Of course, you can easily implement the update and delete operations as well, and your compute logic ends up having direct access to a scalable, production-ready database. While this is great, we can do better. It is common to use an ORM these days, and Drizzle, one of the most popular TypeScript-based ORMs, has great support for Turso. To see this in action, let's import some Drizzle packages and then obtain a reference to the database based on the client object. Next, I am defining a table structure so that our ORM can properly map TypeScript objects to SQL rows and columns. With these updates in place, we can now refactor our service functions into something a bit more developer-friendly. It is worth mentioning that Turso offers a free plan, which is more than enough for prototyping and small projects. However, if your app will grow in size, you'll probably have to upgrade to their paid plan. Please click the like and subscribe buttons, and until next time, thank you for watching.